Proactivity is about constantly expanding your area of influence so that it occupies as much of our area of interest as possible. This is only possible if you focus on your area of influence. You will work on what you can change. Such action will ensure your success. In contrast, devoting attention and energy to things that don't depend on you, over which you have no influence, only leads to frustration and intensifies stress. Constantly experiencing other people's words and actions only causes suffering. That's why you must learn to focus your attention on the things that are within your control, and at the same time effectively ignore the things you can't influence. Of course, at the same time you can systematically expand your scope of influence. For example, if you're annoyed with the way your housing development is being managed, you can always run for election to the cooperative's governing body, and in that way get a real say in what goes on in the cooperative. Similarly, at work, if you care about ecology, you can convince those in charge to make pro-environmental changes. Remember that only when you expand your sphere of influence will you be able to have a real impact on an issue. Now think about whether there is something you would like to change, but it is beyond your area of influence. Then think about what you can do to increase your area of influence to the point where the actions you take have a real effect on the issue. If you really care about changing your life, you need to understand that the change has to happen within you. Specifically, proactivity is a change taking place within you. Positive changes in your work and personal life are the positive result of changes that previously took place within you. People who use phrases such as, "I will be happy when," "If I had different parents," "If I had a better boss," "If I had graduated from college," "If I had been born in a richer home," they become hostages to their own beliefs. This is because by uttering such words, they take away the power to make a change in their lives by recognizing that their lives are entirely dependent on something that may or may not have happened in the past. Such people hold others responsible for their lives. The truth is that regardless of what has been, you can decide whether you will live in a languor or take matters into your own hands and become proactive. An important part of being proactive is making and keeping commitments. This is especially important when the wave of euphoria and excitement is followed by hard, sometimes boring work. Therefore, it is essential to develop the habit of keeping your word and finishing the things you have started. In the past, people who acted in this way were called men of honor. Nowadays, when everything is impermanent, being a man of honor has a special meaning and is sure to set you apart from other people. Therefore, if you promise something, keep your word. If you make an appointment, show up at a certain place and time. If you undertake a task, complete it. Become a man of honor. Once you come up with an initiative and undertake a task with the intention of completing it, remember that everything is created twice. What is behind this statement? The idea is that everything that was created by a human being in this world was first created in someone's head. Before a thing came into existence, someone had to dare to dream about it. Someone had to imagine it. Only when you know what you want to achieve can you proceed with implementation. This principle applies to both small and big things, good and bad. Every building had to be designed, and every project had to be conceived. The same goes for your tasks. Before you act, imagine the end result. Create a vision in your mind of a working product or a completed project. Ask yourself the following questions. What will it look like? How will it work? What will be changed? How will it affect you? How will it affect others? How will you feel then? How will you look in the eyes of others? What will you think of yourself? Now practice creating this final vision of your work based on something you've been doing or that has been on your mind for a while. By accepting a task for completion, you become responsible for it. It doesn't matter whether the task was given to you by assignment, you volunteered for it, or you initiated it. From now on, you are responsible for its implementation. Desired results. Determine exactly what you want to achieve. What is your goal? What do you want the result or end product to look like? However, don't focus on the methods, this will give you more freedom to act. Determine what is to be done, what results you are to achieve. Tips. Know the parameters by which you are to act. As before, it's not about determining the method of action. After all, it's not about having someone control you. Focus on learning the risks and limitations. Find out what not to do. However, don't elaborate on what you need to do. Resources. Find out what resources you will be entrusted with. What budget will you have at your disposal? Whose help can you count on during a given task? Will you be assigned a project team? Will you be assigned any technical or organizational resources? These are really important questions. Reporting. Ask yourself how and how often you are to report on the progress of the work. Determine to whom you report on the task at hand. It may not be your direct supervisor due to the area of work. Deadlines. What are the key deadlines in completing this task? Are there any intermediate deadlines by which any part of the work must be done? It is often the case that individual tasks are interrelated or dependent on each other. In that case, it's useful to know by when you need to turn in a particular phase of work, so as not to hold up another team. It's a bit like a renovation. Before the renovation team starts finishing the walls, the electrician and plumber must finish their work. Consequences and rewards. What happens if you don't make it on time or if the task in question is not completed at all? This is an important question that will help you determine the priority and importance of a given task. And you need this knowledge to determine the order in which tasks should be completed. After all, if you have more tasks than you can handle, you will have to pick and choose and give up on some tasks.